Hi, kindergarten, first and second grade leaders. We are preparing for November 18th. And if you haven't guessed, for this series, we have been talking about family and how God promised through Abraham that his family would continue to grow. And we have seen that happen with Abraham having Isaac, God saving Isaac because he had a promise for Abraham through Isaac. Isaac marrying Rebekah, Rebekah having twin sons, Jacob and Esau, Jacob getting the blessing because the younger brother will be the one that the house of Israel comes out of, which is Jesus's heirs. And then now we are to Jacob has left. He was asked to leave because his brother was mad at him for taking his birthright. And what Rebekah thought were just going to be a few days turned into months and then turned into years, which turned into 20 years. When Isaac blessed him, he instructed him to find a wife among his relatives, and he did. He found that wife with a relative of Isaac named Laban. Now Laban had two daughters that we know of, and their names are Rachel and Leah. And as Jacob had been there serving with Laban, he fell in love with Rachel. And then, crazy thing, Jacob is tricked. Jacob goes and asks Laban if he could marry Rachel, and Laban in turn plays a trick on Jacob and gives him his daughter Leah instead. And then when Jacob goes to question the dad says, well, we don't typically marry off the younger daughter before we marry off the older daughter. You finish out because you're married to her now, you finish out the time, the wedding week with her, and then I will give you my daughter Rachel as well. And so Jacob technically had two wives. He had Leah and Rachel, but this is the crazy story. So Leah gave birth to 12 sons from Jacob. Those sons were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. Now, remember we learned this with Jacob and Esau. What man meant as a trick, God had a plan for in the middle of all of it anyway. And this family, not Rachel's family, Leah's family, will be where we get to see Jesus born from. So not only did Jacob trick his dad, and then he gets to be the heir, to see Leah have these sons, which will give birth to more sons that will eventually get us to Jesus. So Jacob was a trickster. Jacob got tricked, and then God still is working his promise out. In other words, we as humans can do all that we think we need to do to try to handle situations, but God's promise is what turns out to be. So that's where we are. I know this one's going to be possibly a little challenging to talk about with kids. I try to be careful, if I were you, about talking about some of those details, although some of your kids may be very aware. All right, so you have your Simon Says game to play as they're coming in. We'll do large group. And then in small group, you have 3 cups. And you've surely played this game before. I know we were at a football game recently, and they did it with football helmets, where they put the football under a football helmet and then moved the football helmets around. So there's enough prizes in your bag for each kid actually to get a prize, because I know they like getting prizes. But might as well play a trick on them before then. So you're going to pick up one of your cups, put the prize underneath it, and then, let's see if I can move my camera down so you can see it. Then you're going to move your cups around so that they don't know where the prize is anymore, and then give kids a turn each to figure out where the prize is. And this is cup number 1, 2, 3. Which cup do you think it is? It's under cup number 1. Yay! So you guys can play that game and talk about tricks. I would just make sure that as you're talking about tricks, that you remind kids that what man messes up real regularly, God still has a promise and still has a plan, and he's going to see that plan come through even when we are tricky, or even when we think we are doing something that or when we are doing things that are incorrect. God is still going to see his plan through. Then you will do your memory verse activity with your cards and pray and dismiss. Thank you guys so much for leading. I'm looking forward to Christmas soon. We have one more week before we get into our Christmas stuff, and it's going to be so exciting around Parkway. Hang with us though. Let's finish the series strong for the kids, because it really sets us up to help them understand where Jesus came from, that God had that plan from the very beginning. I'll talk to you guys soon.